family. Welcome back to another episode of the Financial Flourish Podcast. I'm your host, Michele Pemberton, and I'm so glad you're able to join me. Today, we are talking about something that hardly gets named in financial conversations, but it shapes almost everything. We're talking about the cost of being the responsible one. This episode is for the woman who figures things out, the one who keeps things moving, makes sure things don't fall apart, carries responsibility without being asked, or is often the backup plan financially or emotionally. Any responsible women out there? And if that's you, I want you to listen to me very carefully. If money feels heavy, stressful, or discouraging, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're doing something wrong. It's possible that you've been carrying more than your share for a very long time. So let's start by defining what I mean by the responsible one. And then you can look at it and see if you fall into that category. So this is what she often looks like. She could be the oldest daughter, the emotionally steady one, the reliable employee, the caregiver, the planner, the problem solver, or the one who says, I'll figure it out. Sometimes this is a role that was assigned to you, sometimes it was assumed by you, or sometimes it was just for survival. But once you become the responsible one, it sticks. People trust you, people lean on you, people assume you're fine. And over time, responsibility becomes part of your identity. Now, here's where money comes into the picture. Responsible women often become financial shock absorbers. They cover the gaps. They step in during emergencies. They smooth over instability. They carry uncertainty so that other people don't have to. And they delay their own needs to keep things steady. Does that sound familiar to any of you? Sometimes this looks like, you're using your credit card just for now to help someone else, or you're not saving because someone needs to borrow some money. You're staying financially flexible just in case something happens, or you're always prepared for the next shoe to drop. So, whether it's friends or family members, something is going to happen to them. So, you're making sure that you're available financially so that you can help. And this gets tired after a while and also very expensive. Responsibility is expensive. We don't say that, but it's expensive. It's not always in the obvious ways, but it's also expensive emotionally as well. When you're the responsible one, rest feels earned, not allowed. Think that spending on yourself feels selfish. You don't ask for help. You feel very uncomfortable asking for help. And your stability feels fragile because now you're helping everyone else. And so money becomes a place where pressure starts to build up because you're not just managing dollars, you're managing expectations, you're managing fear, you're managing what ifs, you're managing everybody else's needs. And that can get very, very tired. Now, in real life, practically what it looks like is you, as a responsible woman, you start overgiving financially. And then you start under supporting yourself. You avoid looking at your money because now you feel, oh my gosh, this is judgment. And you feel guilty when you spend on rest or anything that's pleasurable for yourself. So sometimes you might go to a financial advisor who is telling you that you need to get more discipline, and what it's really not about discipline, it's more about capacity. And that's a problem that responsible women find or have. So today's episode is about what we're going to do about this. I'm going to encourage you to reframe everything, just change things up. You can be responsible and you have been responsible. It has helped you to survive, it helped you to adapt, and it was useful. But what happens a lot of time is that survival strategies don't necessarily translate to sustainability. So you can't continue doing it forever, right? And what has happened is that what has kept you afloat can start weigh you down. And that might be happening to you right now. Now, one of the costs that no one talks about is about self trust, right? And as a responsible woman, you start losing trust with yourself. You stop asking, what do I need? And you start asking, what needs to be handled? And over time, your needs become invisible by everybody else and sadly by yourself. Even you don't realize that you have needs as well. And so what happens is that you help everyone, and in your money situation, your needs become last. So right now, I'm encouraging you to start rebuilding, start getting, financial freedom, financial peace. And this would come through self permission. Give yourself permission to rest, permission to receive, permission to ask for help, permission to be supported. What I'm going to go through now is what the responsible woman actually needs. It's not a new system that you need. You don't need more budgets. You don't need harsher rules. You don't need more self control. So, what we're going to look at today is three things that a responsible woman needs. The first one is margin. Margin is breathing room. It's not excess, it's not luxury, it's not having extra. It's just that space between what you owe and what you have to give, whether it's financially, emotionally, or mentally. Because when you don't have margin, every expense feels urgent. Every surprise feels like a crisis, and every decision feels heavy. Margin allows you to respond instead of reacting. And you can think of how you behave. Sometimes things happen and it seems like a simple thing and you're reacting to it. That's because your margin has been sacrificed in the name of responsibility. And so, what you need to do is to make sure that you're not sacrificing your margin and that you can't respond properly instead of reacting to everything. And if you're a person of faith, this is taught in the Bible. Rest and provision, they're all built into the design. So I hope that you as a responsible person will see the need to make sure that you have margin, that you're not depleted at the end of the day. The second thing I'm going to talk about is honesty. Honesty is telling the truth about your capacity, not your intentions. And if you've been listening to the podcast for any time, you would hear that I like the quote, the way to hell is paved with good intentions. So it's not about what you intend to do, but what you can actually do. So instead of saying, I should be able to handle this, why not say, it's actually hard for me right now. I won't be able to do it. I won't be able to do it. And honesty means admitting when you're tired, saying when it's not sustainable, acknowledging when things have changed in your life and so you can no longer do the things that you used to do. Now, without honesty, money systems become aspiration, instead of what you can actually do. Now, one of the reasons why responsible women avoid honesty is because they feel that it's a weakness because you used to be able to do all these things and so now you're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm not strong anymore. But this is not about being strong. This is about being able to endure to the end. And if you're a person of faith, you can see in the Bible where so many people in the Bible spoke about being overwhelmed, being afraid, it's too much. You have examples like David, Elijah, and even Jesus on the cross. He cried out to his father to let this cup pass from him. So being honest about what you can do is very important for not only your financial health, but also for your mental and emotional health. And then the third thing that a responsible woman needs. So first is margin, second is honesty, and third it's shared responsibility. So shared responsibility means you're not the only one holding everything together. And I know a lot of women feel like they are the only ones holding things together. But what you need to do instead is ask for help, delegate both financially and emotionally, let somebody else carry part of the load, and release in the belief that if I don't do it, it won't get done right. And women do this in so many areas of their life. But it's important to have shared responsibility. Let somebody else share the load. And even at work, this can show up in your work life. Are you delegating enough? I was at a workshop, a conference the other day, and Live to Lead is the name of the conference, right? And one of the speakers said that if someone can do your work 80% as good as you can, let them do it. Just have them share the responsibility, delegate. And not only does your money become lighter when you have shared responsibility, but also your emotional life, your mental health becomes lighter. And you can do a lot more for not only yourself, but also for your family and for your friends. But one of the reasons why responsible women struggle in having shared responsibility is because being responsible has now become their identity. And so they feel that it's risky if they let it go and let someone else share. But just remember that doing everything alone is not strength. It's isolation. And we know that no man is an island. So we've looked at today the three things that responsible women need: margin, honesty, and shared responsibility. I hope that you, as the responsible woman, will implement these two things into your life and see how it helps you. So, as I close this episode, I want to leave a question with you. Not one that you have to answer right away, just one to notice. And the question is, what has been the responsible one cost you financially, emotionally, and mentally? I'm not asking you to do this to assign blame, not to stir up regret, just to tell the truth, just to tell the truth to yourself. It's not about whether or not you were bad with money, it's whether or not you had support. Was there enough support? Did you have enough margin? Did you have shared responsibility? And so now I'm inviting you to do things differently, not with less faith, but with deeper trust. You trust that provision doesn't depend solely on you. You trust that rest is not disobedience. And you trust that shared burden is part of the design. You were not meant to do it alone. So, next time when we meet, we'll talk about how to move forward, choosing what to keep, what to change, and what to release without guilt and without hustle. I thank you so much for listening today, and I hope that you found this episode to be useful as the responsible woman. I hope that until next time that you'll be gentle with yourself, that you'll see implementing one or three of these things will not be a sign of weakness, but a sign of wisdom. That you really want to extend your life, both financially, emotionally, and mentally. If you like this episode, or if you are that responsible woman, leave us a comment so that we can talk about it more. Connect with us on Spotify, Financial Flourish, or on Instagram @_Financial Flourish. Or you can also find us on YouTube or Amazon Music. So until next time, take one more step towards your financial goal and don't forget to flourish.